We knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. Anybody that knows a key property, you know that eventually they're going to rip our hearts out, throw it on the ground, stomp on it, spit on it, and then laugh at us. And yes, with Summer Pockets episode 6, they did just that. Kamome's story was actually fantastic, and I'm really happy that that turned out that way, because for those that have missed my first impressions and whatnot, I've been constantly saying, yes, I love the chemistry, I love the writing, the interaction with the characters themselves, the comedy, everything is on point, the characters are cute, all that stuff. But the one hanging point was going to be, are they going to execute on the individual character stories? And we've been building up Kamome for a while, and this what feels like our conclusion to Kamome's story. It feels like this is sort of an end to a story overall, and I'm curious at this point from now on if it's going to be a reset to the beginning of this summer, and then a different girl, or if it's going to be he comes back the next year for the next summer and just does a different character. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of curious how they're going to play that out, but anyways, going back to Kamome's character, I had my speculations around what her story is going to be, but I think in the end, it exceeded the expectations. Because yes, my initial impression was that, yeah, one of these girls on this island is going to be dead, dying, or a fox. It's a key property. What I'm kind of suspecting now is they're all possibly dead, that this might be an island of spirits of girls that have, like, unfinished business. And that's why they're possibly able to all interact. Like, there's something magical about this island, these butterflies, that's allowing them to exist there, because it was sort of taking away the speculation that Kamome was dead by the fact that she was interacting with people. But either way, dead or not, what I like about this whole thing is that it gave so much to her character story besides just her being dead. Because yes, them saying eternally asleep, you don't usually use that for a coma or something like that. It's implying she is dead. Even though it kind of indicates for some reason that she comes back later on, but again, that could be a spirit. She could come back as a spirit later on to visit him on the island or something like that. I wish she's alive. I wish that she's just in a coma, but I don't think our mom would say eternal sleep. Usually you're going to want to have hope that she can wake up, unless the mother has just given up at this point. I hope not. What I liked about Kamome's story is not really necessarily her, which it's a super tragic story. I'm going to get into it in a minute, but more so how Heidi sort of mixes into it. As we're sort of revealing here, when she finally gets to the actual pirate ship, she suddenly realized, oh, I'm not Kamome. That's the trip there, is the idea that she's not necessarily the character that she always thought she was. The memories that she had wasn't who she was. And so when she gets to the ship, she goes, oh yeah, I am the person that's trying to relive the adventure. The Kamome is the character of the story that my mother wrote. That's what we find out when he finally goes off and finds out who wrote the story, because he realized that, oh yeah, by the way, here's this book. I remember this book. Oh, I had this book. It's all starting to click for him. After he finds his book, he goes to see this island, returns the suitcase to the mother, and that's where we get the true story of Kamome, which is where it gets super tragic, but also really interesting how it ties in with Heidi. And the idea that, yes, a long time ago, this girl was super sick, she was very alone, she doesn't have any friends, but her mother, kind of seeing that she wants this adventure, wrote this story of Kamome. This story of these kids coming together and trying to band together to go to this ship, and then at this point making this wish that they'll come back 10 years later and actually go and ride around this pirate ship. And she bought a ship. She's an author, a very successful author apparently, or maybe it's the father. The father seems to be like in like, you know, the ecosystem, stuff like that. One of the two of them has a lot of money, so they had a pirate ship brought to this island. I mean, they bought an island, so it seems like they have a lot of money. They basically set everything up, and Kamome loved the story so much that she wanted to live that adventure. She wanted to do that. But I think, again, kind of gets further into Heidi's story and the idea that all the memories he had, which I was kind of curious how they're going to blend that. My early speculation was that he was sort of, because he was around Kamome in this island, it had some supernatural effect that was causing him to be a part of her history. But no, this is just the fact that he read the story a long time ago, was a massive fan of it, and yes, even sent them fan letters. And Kamome even returned letters. Like, they were, I guess, allowing Kamome to reply to all the kids that were loving the story and wanted to be a part of it. It sort of did turn into this thing where the mother, oh my God, this is where it's starting to get me emotional. The mother so badly wanted her daughter to enjoy this adventure that she wrote for her. And she wanted to recreate that adventure. She wanted so badly for her daughter to have this adventure that she so sought out. She wrote this adventure for her and she loved it so much. And all these other kids loved the adventure, even Heidi. They all loved this story and they wanted to be a part of it. And they were just waiting for her to get better. Like, it would even talk about the fact that she was so frail and that she was going to possibly die young, just like her father, because he had the same illness. Heidi was like, why didn't you just do it earlier? And it was all because Kamome didn't want to let them down. They're expecting to go on the adventure this day. They didn't want to see her being frail and ill. She wanted to wait until she got better, and she was getting better. But, and she got to the point where she could move on her own, and she couldn't do it. It sucks. But it was all leading up to this point where they wanted to rebuild that whole adventure. Have that point 10 years later where all these kids that love this story can come back and go on this adventure to the actual pirate ship. And that's what they were actually all building this for. But unfortunately, that summer, she passed away. She couldn't make it. And that's what it leads into the current time where suddenly out of nowhere, it does seem like right after she passed away, summer happens now. He's on the same island, and suddenly he's seeing her there. And it does seem like it's somehow tied in with the suitcase, this thing that she loves sitting on all the time and just loved reading her stories. I think that's kind of a cool little tie-in they have there. Because, yeah, the big question mark was like, why is she so obsessed with this suitcase? What's so special about this thing? It's just that thing that she always, was hanging around. She always read her books sitting on it. It's been all over the world. So this is sort of the thing that she wants to do. This is what she wants to do. She wants to travel. She wants to go on adventures because she's always stuck in this room. But I think the thing that sort of hurts the most was sort of what she was saying to Heidi after all this stuff happens. He's getting the people together. He's sending out all the letters to all the fans, which I thought was super cool. Like, I already like this main character, but dang, dude, like going above and beyond, literally sending letters to every single person that sent in those fan letters. We're doing it. It's time to come. It's time to have this adventure that she promised. This is the thing that she wanted to do. He wanted to fulfill her dream. Get everybody together. Have everybody that sent those letters in that wanted to go on this adventure, have them all come here. And sure enough, a whole bunch of people show up. Everybody's there for that sake. But no, that night before, like having him stay the night in that cabin, and eventually she does arrive. This is where it hit the most, because this is obviously like the goodbye. This is where she's saying that she is passing away. I'm going off to somewhere far away. Oh, you mean overseas? No, further than that. This is, I'm not supposed to be here. Like even later on when she shows up again, she's like, I'm not even supposed to be here. She's a spirit at this point. It's pretty much solidified. She's dead. But coming in there that last time, that's where it kind of hurt me the most, because this is where it's talking about sort of this mixed reality that she had. And the idea that when she was growing up, and I think the mother kind of talked about this a bit, and the idea that during that period of time leading up to that 10 years later, when she kept getting sick, and she kept being stuck in bed, and she was constantly conscious or unconscious, back and forth, she kept having these dreams of actually having this adventure. The story that she loved so much became a reality in her dreams. And since she was conscious and unconscious so much, whenever she would wake up sometimes, she would talk to her mother about how she's so excited for the day that she gets to see everybody again. That she would go on that adventure that she promised everybody. I can't wait to see them. I hope that they remember me. That's where it really hurt for me. That idea of her, her sort of feeling that she is the character. Like she became the character. And again, that does play into when she's with Heidi, when he's there. She thought she was Kamome. She literally thought she was the character. She was talking about the days of old when they used to travel together and they were having their adventure together. She's going through all this stuff. She thought her friends hid the keys, when in fact she did. She set everything up, but she forgot that she did because she was so swept up into the story and she wanted it to be reality so much. It became reality through her dreams, which she probably spent most of her time actually doing because she's stuck in bed and unconscious. That became her new reality. That became her outlet, and it becomes pretty much real to her. That's the part that really, really gut punched me. But then again, having this realization point now, yeah, it's done. It's actually over. I wasn't able to achieve that. Still thanking Heidi in the end that he was able to allow her to at least experience her dream, at least find the pirate ship. But he didn't want to leave it at that. He wanted to do everything else. Actually make the pirate ship. Everybody coming together to fix it up and everything. It hurt. And I think the mother coming there later on and him sort of being honest with her about what happened, that's where, again, is the gut punch. And again, her actually confirming that, yeah, eternal sleep. She's gone. At least we got a kiss. I like how she's like, I realize what the bahu comes from. You wanted to say I'm pretty. Oh, right before it disappears. Ugh, gut punch. I did like Shiroha. The whole, like, making the flag. It's like, do you have a sheet? What do you need a sheet for? I like how he so bluntly asks for things from these girls, and they're always kind of like, okay, let's take a step back. Can you introduce yourself a little bit better than that? Like, it's like the whole thing with Owl. I need your uniform. It's like, can you come in there and say, hey, so here's the situation. Can I use your uniform? It's always like immediately to the end, and they're always like, what do you want bed sheets for? What do you want a uniform for? But yeah, her coming there with the drawing later on, saying, please don't be too critical of it. He's like, oh, it's amazing. And she's like, oh, thank you. It was cute. It was cute. But yeah, overall, super good. Super good. Again, it does play into my expectations. It does play into the usual key visual arts stuff of dead girl, cry over them. But it works. Like, it works. And again, I think it's because of the complexity of the idea of the story, where Heidi himself starts to feel familiar with the story, and that's because he read the story and loved it so much back in the day, and sort of mixing up memories with the story that he read and loved so much. That's the stuff that sort of gave it a lot more flavor than just, hey, by the way, Kamome is a comatose girl that is dying. Isn't that sad? It's more than just that. But yeah, it was super good. It has me really hopeful for the stories going forward, and is really shooting up Summer Pockets as like up there as possibly my anime of the season. I'm loving it so much. Outside of that, I did want to talk about my theories going forward. Again, one question mark that I have going forward, and again, for those in the comment sections, I'm not asking for answers. I'm just kind of speculating here because I'm kind of curious as where in my own mind what this could do. We'll find out next week. I'm curious what they're going to do going forward, because again, this is the end of a summer. And so the question mark is it going to be, okay, next summer is next episode, and then we go after another route? Or is it possibly going to do a reset to beginning of the summer, and then he meets somebody new? That would be the massive question mark there. Could he arrive at the island once again, and then he comes in there, he might see Kamome go by, and he just doesn't see her or doesn't talk to her. Maybe he gets distracted by another girl, and then suddenly we're going to go down that route. That's going to be like an interesting question mark there, if it's going to be reset routes. Because a lot of like choose your route type of visual novels will do this, where suddenly it's like, boop, just start from the start. No, we're not going to explain it. It's just suddenly it starts from the start again. But there's some like Clannad, they did very well in sort of branching as it keeps going forward to the one main arc. But why I think it's going to reset is because it does feel like this is a concluded summer, and Umi disappears. Umi is probably, of everything in this episode, was probably the biggest like WTF moment of the episode, because what we portrayed Umi as so far, besides being extremely freaking cute, and I love her to death, she's so adorable, and I love every single goofy little interaction that he has with her, even the Ponsu. He finds the Ponsu, and she's like, oh, those are girls' underwear, aren't they? He's like, don't ask any questions, please. Not my concern. Besides her being extremely adorable, I'm kind of curious if she will be sort of, lack of a better term, the curator. The one that's sort of orchestrating it. I'm kind of starting to think that she might be the one that's orchestrating things, because the moment that summer is ending, the story decides to focus in on her. She's walking down, she's supposedly going home. The aunt says she's going home, and that she's very curious about Heidi, and didn't say anything as she left. She didn't go home. Well, I mean, she could have. She didn't get on a boat and leave the island. She went to the beach and disappears, saying something to the effect of summer's over or something like that. Summer's ending again. It makes me wonder if possibly she is sort of, if my theory is correct about each of these girls being spirits with unfinished business, if she's the one that is sort of curating it, the one that is sort of bringing these spirits there to have their dreams sort of answered so that they can pass on. She's bringing the butterflies in. Because I think one of the things that's sort of telling is the fact that it seems like a lot of what Kamome was experiencing there was surrounded by butterflies. The suitcase disappears with butterflies. When she first disappears, the butterflies. The second time, butterflies. There's constantly butterflies flying around her. And then with Umi, I don't recall seeing butterflies leave her when she vanishes, which does make me believe that she's something else. She's not going to be a spirit, so to speak. Because I think the sad thing about her really is the fact that it did seem like she wanted to interact with Heidi, especially towards the later part there, but he was constantly busy. And it did seem like she wanted to speak to him about something beforehand. The only thing that's kind of troubling to the idea of her being the curator or whatever is the fact that it does show us some history of her. But again, it could be the fact that she is also a tragic story as well. It did seem to imply that she didn't see a mother present when she was back at home. It did briefly show a father go by, didn't respond to her as she was sitting there eating, and calls out to him. So it does seem like she was neglected. And I really kind of assume they're going to go into route of her story as being that somebody that she probably lost her mother. The father is, distanced himself. He is constantly working, and he just doesn't want to interact with her. It could turn into an idea of she's a child that was born and her birth caused the death of her mother. The idea that the mother didn't get through labor and she lived, though. The idea that he might blame her. I don't know. We'll see, but I kind of wonder if she's possibly going to be very strongly tied in with the island, and that's going to be a significant thing to, again, hiding meeting each of these girls and, again, fulfilling their wishes. We'll see, though. I'm kind of curious how it's going to turn out from here, but again, because of how Kamome's story sort of concluded, I have a lot of hopes for the show, even though I'm pretty much at this point assuming every one of these girls is dead. And every one of them is going to be like not happy endings. It's going to be bittersweet stories. Is really what it's going to be. It's going to be the assumption they're probably all dead, but it's going to be one of those aspects of getting a bittersweet ending to each one of them as he fulfills some sort of wish they have. What that wish is going to be the massive question mark. Anyways, it was a really good episode. Really, really, really happy about how it ended, and I'm looking forward to more. But I just want to get on here and talk about it because I loved it. So. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this video, hit the like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of the ending of this story. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know. I'm kind of curious if I might want to start covering this show on a weekly basis because certain other shows aren't really working as well as I had hoped. But we'll see. If the video does well enough, maybe I might consider it. But I hope you enjoyed. If you like this content, you want to support channel more, links to the script below. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, y'all take care.